Imagine this, you wake up one morning to find all your devices dead, the internet gone, ATMs offline, banks inaccessible, your digital life vanished. How prepared are you to face this situation? This is not a plot from a dystopian movie, but a plausible scenario in our digitally dependent world. A massive cyber attack could disrupt all our digital infrastructure, leaving us in a state of chaos. We've grown so reliant on technology that the thought of its absence can be frightening. The convenience of swiping a card or clicking a button has made us forget the value of physical resources. But what happens when those cards stop working and the buttons yield no results? When the digital world crumbles, it's the physical resources that become our safety net. In such a scenario, it's not your digital prowess, but your tangible stockpile that could make the difference between survival and despair. In an age where we're increasingly reliant on technology, we often forget the importance of physical resources. We live in a digital world, and it's easy to forget that our bank accounts, our grocery orders, even our communication systems, all rely on an intricate network of computers. But what happens when that network fails? As recent events have shown us, it's not a matter of if, but when. Now imagine this scenario. You wake up one morning and your phone doesn't switch on, your laptop won't boot up, and your credit cards are just pieces of plastic. Your digital life has been wiped clean, and you're left with only what you have on hand. That's where the importance of stockpiling comes into play. Stockpiling is about more than just being prepared for a disaster. It's about creating a safety net for yourself and your loved ones. It's about having the peace of mind knowing that if the digital world fails, you won't be left in the lurch. When we talk about stockpiling, we're not just talking about a few cans of soup and a bottle of water. We're talking about creating a comprehensive stockpile of essentials that can sustain you and your family for weeks, even months. This includes food, water, medical supplies, and even barter items. It's about having a plan and being proactive, not reactive. But stockpiling isn't just about survival. It's about thriving in the face of adversity. It's about being able to provide for your family, even when the odds are stacked against you. It's about being self-reliant and not depending on a system that could fail at any moment. So let's take a step back from our digital lives and remember the importance of tangible physical resources. Let's start stockpiling and create a safety net for ourselves and our families. Because in a world where technology can fail, having a well-stocked pantry and a plan can make all the difference. If you're not stockpiling, start now. It's better to be a year too early than a day too late. So what should you stockpile? Let's start with the basics. Number 1 on your list should be water and purification supplies. Store enough bottled water to last each person in your household at least 1 month. And don't forget to include water purification tablets and filters for long-term water sourcing. Remember, the human body can only survive 3 days without water, so don't skimp on this one. Next up, barter items. When the digital world crashes, the old-school barter system will likely make a comeback. So think small, useful items that people would miss during a prolonged power outage: fire starters, lighters, matches, over-the-counter medication, candles, spices, batteries. Every item you think of, there are others thinking the same thing. Then we have cash and small change. In a world where digital banking is inaccessible, cold hard cash will become king. Make sure to keep a stash of it hidden safely at home. And remember, small bills and change will be more useful than large denominations. Lastly, for this segment, we have basic medical supplies. This includes first aid kits, essential medications, and other basic medical supplies. Accidents and illnesses don't stop happening just because the world has gone awry, so it's vital to have a well-stocked medical kit on hand. These are the absolute basics. But the list doesn't end here. In our next segment, we'll cover more items you should consider adding to your stockpile to ensure you're prepared for anything that comes your way. Beyond the basics, there are items that can significantly improve your comfort and survival chances during a disaster. As we continue our journey through the list of essential stockpile items, we land on portable lighting. When the lights go out, you'll appreciate the glow of a good flashlight. Consider investing in solar-powered lights that can recharge during the day and provide illumination at night. Don't forget to stock up on batteries. They're like gold in a power outage. And remember, candles aren't just for romantic dinners, they're a practical light source that doesn't rely on electricity. Next, let's talk about cooking. If the power's out, how will you prepare your food? This is where fuel and cooking supplies come into play. A camping stove can be a lifesaver, turning a can of beans into a warm, satisfying meal. Don't forget to stockpile propane or butane canisters for your stove. And while we're on the subject, a manual can opener is a must-have. Trust me, you don't want to be left staring at a can of tuna wishing you could open it. Moving on to sanitation and hygiene products. It's often overlooked, but maintaining cleanliness is vital for health and morale during a disaster. So, stock up on toilet paper, soaps, disinfectants, and personal hygiene items. Remember, cleanliness isn't just next to godliness, it's key to preventing illness and infection. Finally, let's discuss communication tools. When the internet goes down, how will you stay informed? A battery-powered or hand-crank radio can keep you connected to the outside world, providing vital updates and information. Two-way radios are also great for local communication. If you're part of a community of preppers, they can be essential for coordinating efforts and sharing resources. With these items, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're creating a haven of light, warmth, cleanliness, and connection in the midst of chaos. And that, my friends, is what preparedness is all about. We've covered the basics and the comforts. Now let's talk about the long term. In the realm of defensive tools, it's not always about the biggest and the baddest. It's about what you're comfortable using and what you can use effectively. Firearms are an obvious choice for some, but don't overlook the value of pepper spray, a good sturdy lock, or even a well-placed deterrent. And remember, defense isn't just about people. It's about pests and wildlife too. Next up, non-perishable food. Canned goods are a given, but don't forget dried legumes, nuts, and other high-calorie foods that don't require refrigeration. And remember, variety is not just the spice of life, it also helps keep morale high during difficult times. So stock up on different types of food items for a balanced diet. Now let's talk power. In a world without electricity, solar power chargers become a lifeline. They're a sustainable way to keep small devices running when the grid is down. They can power lights, radios, and even certain medical equipment, so invest in a good quality solar charger. Moving on to clothing. When you're preparing for a long-term situation, think durability and comfort. Have clothing suitable for all weather conditions. Don't forget footwear. A sturdy pair of boots can make all the difference when you're dealing with rough terrain or long distances. Last but not least, seeds for gardening. If the situation extends longer than expected, those canned goods are going to run out. Having heirloom seeds to grow your own food can be a game changer. It's self-sufficiency at its finest. Plus, there's something incredibly satisfying about eating something you've grown yourself. Remember, being prepared is about more than just surviving. It's about maintaining a certain quality of life. It's about being able to stand on your own 2 feet, no matter what comes your way. With these, you're prepared for the long haul. Building a resilient stockpile isn't just about having enough supplies, it's about ensuring you're prepared for any form of disaster. As we've journeyed through the list of 13 essential items, it's clear that being prepared is more than just having a pantry full of canned goods. It's about having the resources to survive and even thrive when our digital world comes to a standstill. It's about having the ability to purify water when the taps run dry, to barter when the ATMs are down, and to keep warm when the power grid fails. It's about having the foresight to store medical supplies, communication tools, and defensive items to protect what's yours and keep in touch with the world. And it's about the ability to sustain yourself long-term with durable clothing, solar power chargers, and seeds for gardening. But remember, this isn't a one-size-fits-all list. Your individual circumstances, location, and abilities will influence what's essential for you. Maybe you'll need more of some items, less of others, or maybe there's something entirely different that's essential for your survival. That's why it's so important to start planning and stockpiling now, so you can tailor your preparations to your unique situation. Don't wait for the next disaster to strike before you start preparing. Start today, make a list, start small if you need to, but start. And keep building, keep preparing, because the one thing we can be certain of is that the unexpected will happen. And as you embark on this journey, we invite you to share your own tips and experiences. What items have you found most useful in your stockpiling? What challenges have you faced? Your insights could be invaluable to others in our community, as we all strive to be better prepared. Remember, it's not about predicting the future, it's about being prepared for it. So are you ready?